All right, welcome back to Estonia, the Narva Bridgehead Keg-Sized campaign. We'll be playing Chain of Command today. Hope you guys are all doing well. From what the first two games of this campaign, the Soviets have made two localized attacks around Opole, just kind of probing the German defenses. They've both been repulsed. The Germans are going to get a bit cheeky here and are going to, they've gathered up some armored resources and some of the more elite units and are going to try to attack or counterattack and cut off some supplies from the Russians farther south where their main thrust is coming from, hoping to just kind of delay the inevitable. So in this town, which is we're going to call Kotel'ski, we'll take a look at the map here, and now you can see Narva itself, and then off to the east, a little bit to the south, we'll see Opole, and I'm going to really apologize for all my pronunciations of the Estonia area, and if I offend anybody, I'm really sorry. I'm doing the best I can here. Then we had a second attack near trying to take the railroad junction just south of Opole. That also failed, and now we're having the Germans are going to try this attack at Kotel'ski, which is a little bit to the north. This town's going to stand for that. There's the intersection there. The Germans are going to try to push in and take this town, and basically the Russians have got their defensive line set up. The Russians were pretty darn good at building works, so they're going to have all that stuff built in. I just really wanted to use this trench system that I got from Sarissa, and yeah, because that was kind of fun to build, and it was my first attempt ever playing with Vallejo mud. So they're going to have that defenses. The Soviets are going to be defending. Basically, they're also going to be attacking a little bit. This is going to be a huge tank battle. Being using the big chain of command rules. So we're going to have two infantry platoons and one motorized tank platoon for each side. So it's going to be pretty huge. We do the patrol phase. Both sides are going to kind of start with their 6 patrol markers from their relative corner. The Germans will be from that corner moving forward this way. Soviets down at this end moving forward this way. The roads on each board edge will be where armor will come in. And yeah, that'll be it. There'll just be troops everywhere. And hopefully we'll have a good old time here. I'm looking forward to this one. I haven't played Chain of Command in a while. I know the two fat lardies are planning at the big British convention or English convention. I think in the spring they're going to release the Chain of Command 2. I just wanted to at least get one more game of regular Chain of Command in for make the plunge into the next one. Both sides are using a fresh force. I think they're both going to be using Force 2. There are some leftover casualties in both sides Force 1. Well, I think the Germans don't have any. But these will be elements of the 2nd Grenadier Regiment of the 11th Infantry Division for the Germans, along with some Panzer elements. Oh, and it's the big cat time. We're talking Tigers, Panthers, Sturm Tigers, my brand new Jagd Tiger, and an elephant. So these are the gas guzzlers. They're going to be pounding the Soviets. It's going to be fun. We'll go over the specifics of each of the 2 infantry platoons. One of them is going to be a Pioneer Grenadier platoon with some half-track elements. And on the other side of the battlefield, we're going to have elements of the 154th Rifle Regiment of the 327th Rifle Division, 2nd Shock Army for the Soviets. The Germans thinking they're going to have an easy push through here, run into a massive Soviet force getting ready to attack anyway. So they've got some big boy reinforcements themselves. They're not the pushovers. They got an IS-2, 2 T-3485s, and 2 ISU-152s. So I have no idea how much carnage these guys are going to cause, but it's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to this. And they also have 2 rifle platoons, one of which of the squads is kind of specialized in submachine guns. The other one's kind of a guard squad with some extra weapons on board, but mostly the standard rifle squad out of the rule book for chain of command. Soviets will also be using the new Zis-3 gun I created. They have a medium mortar and a Maxim medium machine gun too. So yeah, it's going to be great. Both platoons will have a both platoons will have a leader, senior leader, and then we'll have a ranking senior leader over the whole thing, which will be, for the Soviets, will be your and my friend of the channel, Mikhail Deslorovich. Sorry, Mike, I couldn't pronounce that right. It's Mike Deslorey, but he's kind of put a little Soviet spin on it. He's out front with his loudspeaker screaming his head off, telling people what to do. First platoon for the Germans is standard German infantry with I think it's 6 or 7 rifles, an MG42, 3-man crew, and then an NCO. They also have an MG42 on a tripod, a medium mortar, and they have a PaK 40 in this platoon, plus a senior leader with a Panzerschreck. Second platoon is the more elite platoon. They got also two half tracks and then one Opel Blitz. They have one squad with like all submachine guns and an MG42. They have another squad with all assault rifles and an MG42, and then they have a Pioneer squad. Then they also have a senior leader with a Panzerschreck, and then of course you got the ranking senior leader for the whole force is going to be Captain Carmichael, lead him to victory. Some of these guns are ridiculous. I don't think there's any stats in the book that I have. Is it a 388 millimeter rocket propelled mortar for the Sturm Tiger? It's insane. So I've kind of multiplied some of the bigger guns by 2, like the ISU 152. I'm probably gonna have to cut its range down a little bit because I know this thing just kind of rolled up and fired, just destroyed everything. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still work in progress. And then the Yog Tiger and the Elephant are just insane. And that's even before you get into the Panther and the Tiger, which are both beastie guns themselves. So it's going to be fun watching rounds bounce off each other and blow each other to pieces and just see how the dice roll. All right, we're going to get into it pretty quickly here. I'm going to roll up some force morale for each side. There'll be some modifiers from the campaign. Germans do have an advantage there from winning the last 2 battles. Then we'll do the patrol phase, and then we'll basically get this party started. Germans will be going first with the first phase because they are attacking, even though the Soviets are going to have an aggressive defense. All right, for starting force morale, the Germans are going to get a +1 to their force morale, and the Soviets are going to get a -1 to theirs. Do the Germans first. Roll all 3 platoons at once. Just goes first platoon, second platoon, third platoon. That's going to be overly crowded. All 3 German platoons are at a force morale of 9. And I forgot to add some stone walls in, so I've added it since the original shoot a couple minutes ago. Added in some stone walls around the town just to add in some more extra cover, which is can't have enough of in Chain of Command. 2 Soviet infantry platoons have force morale of 9, and the armor platoon, they must not be thrilled. They're going out with an 8. They can hear the roar of the German tanks out there, and they're not liking it. All right, the bullets are loaded. The tanks are fueled up. Shells are rammed into the breeches. It's time for the patrol phase. Let's gonna march this out. We're gonna speed it up and play some cool music for you. All right, the Germans definitely got the
the better of the, well, we think it's the better. They got a jump off point all the way up here, which is pretty cool. Could be a death match, who knows. They got one behind it here. They got one behind the church and one over in those trees over there. The Soviets basically weren't able to push in good enough. I think you could almost predict where it was going to happen. I'm not good enough at these. I've only done about 3 or 4 of these what's it call it, patrol phases to know. So I'm not an expert at setting these things up, but it was fun anyway. They've got 2 along the trenches, one in the mortar pit back there, and one in this small collection of trees back over here. So yeah, that works out well. Soviets will definitely be dug in. Germans will be pushing forward, and we'll just see who can wipe out force morale and have a little bit of fun here. Hang into your butts. Coming at you with the first phase of German Platoon 1. We're going to go German Platoon 1, Soviet Platoon 1, German Platoon 2, Soviet Platoon 2, and then rinse and repeat. Probably unlimited double phases. Just have a good old time here. And yeah, since it's a campaign, both fresh platoons. I've got all the casualties added up on my spreadsheet. I'm trying to get used to the at the sharp end supplement for for chain of command, but it's pretty cool. All right, so we'll get started here, and let's go. All right, time to shake the dust off and roll some dice. Platoon 1 for the Germans, starting off first. Let's roll command dice for these guys. All right. All right, first platoon gets 3 chain of command points. Then they bring in a 1 squad over here to the right of the church off this jump off point. They can come in 6 inches off it. So they're moving forward towards those buildings, my new ones, and that stone fence. And then with their other 3, 6 inches off that jump off point, they bring in first squad. Hopefully I remember these. To the left of those guys, a little bit ahead of them. There's the church in the background. On the other side of the river, kind of behind the stone wall and hard cover. And they'll be up against the the trench line, which might not be fun. Okay, here we go. Of course, if you haven't watched this channel before, my tactics are always questionable, but always looking to improve. Not the best roll for those gents. They got 2 4s. They're not going to bring in any senior leaders. They got a 5. So they got 1 chain of command point, and then they got a 1. So they brought in their medium mortar, which usually you don't see in chain of command, but I'm kind of blessed with a big enough table to have some fun with these things. And get back in the mortar pit here on the back, and that's all they can do. So that's that platoon done. We'll move over to German second platoon. All right, they get 2 2s, a 4, a 3, and a chain of command point. They're going to take 1 chain of command point here. With a 3, the senior leader is going to come on and command this truck full of submachine gunners to move flat out down the road. So that'll be 3d6 times 2. So that squad inside of their Opel Blitz with their MG42 section come flying in 28 inches, heading into town. Hopefully don't get smoked in 3 seconds here. All right. With the rest of their dice, they're going to do nothing. They just don't want to bring anybody in just to sit there on the start line and get in the way of tanks and stuff. All right, it's time for Soviet second platoon. See what they can do. All right, they use their 2 3s to bring in their first and their second squad. They line the entrenchments. They're both within 4 inches of each other, so they can share casualties. They're in card cover. All right, that's going to make it very difficult for the Germans, but let's see what we can do. Now it's up for the German armored platoon. Yeah, the Jagdtiger is the leader of this tank platoon. We're going to give him a senior leader in there. Everyone else has got a junior leader. All right, only 1 vehicle per platoon can come in per turn off a single entry point. So the Ferdinand rolls in. He's pointing off to the left here. He's going to
kind of start climbing these hills and get into a good firing position to cover whatever it needs to cover. All right, time for the Soviet tank platoon. The IS-2 is their senior commander. He's able to get 2 chain of command points and a double phase, but no 3s or 4s to bring in any vehicles. So he's just gonna roll again. Alright, gets another chain of command point and then brings in an ISU 152 off the jump off point. Moving to the left, probably going to get a good firing solution down the road towards the bridge. I forgot, when these Soviets came in, they could immediately start shooting. So these 1st and 2nd squad from 2nd platoon are going to open fire on these Germans in heavy cover at effective range. It'll be 12 shots in hard cover. Looking for 5s and 6s to hit. Oh yeah, great shooting by those guys. 6 hits in hard cover. Let's see what they can do. The Germans are split into 2 teams. They've got the machine gun section and then the rifle squad. Once again, looking for 5s and 6s. The sergeant is with the rifle squad. The rifle team loses a guy. The machine gun section takes a shock. Has to be less than the number of guys hit for a chance the leader be hit, so that's fine. I'm going to excuse my rustiness as I already forgot to do the the Russians to shoot. I'm going to fire the other squad. I'm just going to assume that these guys were on Overwatch. Just they just kind of deployed. So once the Soviets fire this other squad, the Germans will return fire and be off Overwatch. And just excuse the rust as getting back into this. This is a heck of a good system. Looking down the trench line at the Soviet other platoon, 12 more shots at effective range, hitting on 5s and 6s against the Germans in hard cover. Nice shooting, but not as good as the last guys. They score 4 hits, split in 2 for each of them. Rifle team picks up a shock. Now both groups have 1 shock. They're going to go ahead and fire back. Because the Soviets are all within 4 inches of it, it's going to be spread over both squads. They have 6 rifles and a belt-fed MG42. Blasting back at the Soviets. I think the belt-fed gets 8 shots. So it's going to be 14 shots from these gentlemen at the Soviets in hard cover. They score 5 hits. They're going to put 3 on this squad up here and 2 on this squad down here. All in hard cover, looking for 5s and 6s. Soviet first squad loses a rifleman, and then the Soviet second squad takes a shock. And yeah, that ends the first go around the wheel there. That's kind of nice. Nice to be back in the saddle again. Going back to German's first platoon, as we already have a firefight immediately, which is always beautiful about chain of command. The ranges are more realistic. So, bam, here we go. Let's start off again with them. Alright, German's first platoon has a worthless 6, a chain of command die bringing them up to 4. A 4 and 2 1s. With the 4, they drop their first, their senior leader in within 4 inches of these gentlemen here, within 9 inches of these medium mortar that comes in, and of course close enough for that MG42 on a tripod that's going to be combined with all this. Then with his 3 commands, he's going to order the MG42 to fire, this whole team to fire, and the mortar to fire a ranging shot against that trench on the left. So these boys are going to pour 25 shots into the bunker, or into the entrenchment these 2 Soviet squads are in. Alright, looking for 5s and 6s from these insanos. Here we go. "12 hits, 6 on each squad." Let's divide it equally. That's kind of nice. Both squads suffered 2 losses. The chance for each junior leader to be hit in each squad, needing a 1. I missed both senior leaders, so they lose 2 gentlemen. Alright, see where that 3-inch mortar lands. Mortar round is going to deviate 2d6 inches in a random direction. A mortar round lands just beyond the trenches, kind of shaking them up a little bit. Would freak me out. No thank you. Alright, that's the end of 1st Platoon. Go on to Soviet 1st Platoon. You get a chain of command point, a double phase, and they bring a senior leader in, and they're going to bring in their Maxim medium machine gun. The Maxim doesn't quite fit in my entrenchments, but that's alright. We'll live with that. They come in with their 5-man team. Senior leader in behind the trenches, being close enough to the mortars, and they're basically going to duplicate what the Germans did to them. They're going to fire... Well, he can't fire everything, can he? He has 3 commands. Oh, hang on. He's got to start getting mortar rounds on that German position as quick as possible. So he's going to fire a ranging shot with his 81. He's going to fire his Maxim medium machine gun, and he's going to fire this squad on the right. Or they're going to pour 20 shots into these Germans that are split into 3 different sections. They got a rifle squad, the MG42 team, and then the big time MG42 team. They pour 8 hits into those gentlemen, split between the 3 teams. Let's see what happens with those guys. The rifle section takes a second point of shock. That's it. Not too bad there, baby. I like it. Alright. And now here comes the ranging mortar shot, which could be horrific. Aiming right in the middle of the rifle team. The ranging shot finds the range. Oh, they get smacked. All 3 teams take 2 hits as that mortar round sprays fragmentation all over behind the wall, reducing cover. Yeah, I guess have debating about giving them no cover at all because it's a freaking mortar exploding amongst you. But these guys will be hugging the ground and everything, so we'll make it down to light cover. That adds another point of shock to the rifle squad to the right. They're attached to MG42, also takes another shock. They go up to 2. And the Germans got to start thinking hard about whether they want to stay there or not. Because now every shot's on target, and every one of those teams will take 4 hits every time. Unless they can kill this senior leader back here that's directing fire. And now it's double phase time. Here come the Soviets again, see if they can roll some more rounds in there. You get a 1, a 2, 2 4s, and a 6. We're going to put the 1 and the 2 together to bring in, make the 3 basically, and bring in the Zis 3 right there in the woods. They're immediately going to fire on the same Germans. With the 4, the senior leader is going to do the exact same thing, fire the Maxim, this squad, and fire another round with the mortar. So they're going to scramble those boys really bad back there. Sorry about that, Germans. Here comes another 20 shots. Each of those 3 sections takes, they take 5 hits split between the 3 sections, plus each section takes 4 hits from the increased mortar barrage they're under. Oh gosh, what a nightmare. I'll have to roll them separately just because the mortar barrage is reduced cover to light. The heavy machine gun crew has a guy blown away. The MG42 team assigned to the rifles squad, basically as a guy, what's that? Has extra shock put on. So both of these have 3 now. Ooh, that rifle team only has 3 guys. So I think you're pinned when you have the same amount of. Maybe let me double check. All right, so they're not pinned yet. They have 3 guys with 3 shock. Once you hit 4, though, they're hosed. And now we get each of those groups takes 4 hits from mortar rounds. It all just becomes too much behind that wall back there. The rifle team takes a shock. The heavy machine gun takes a shock. Unfortunately, the 3-man team attached to the rifle squad gets a guy blown to pieces and takes 2 more shock, taking him up to 5 with 2 guys. They're going to break. So they're going to break 2d6 plus 6 inches. These guys grab their MG42 and they run back behind the mortar team, 13 inches behind the line, seeking cover behind the building. Probably not a bad idea. They still got 5 shock. We had a bad thing happens for a team breaks. It's a fire, fire team, whatever. Attached to platoon 1. First platoon falls to a 7 from 9. Kind of frees up some room in there. And there we go. First force morale issue for the Germans. That thankfully brings Soviet platoon 1 their turn to an end. And very insanely, I need to go back to it. I thought about it and I kept trying to remind myself mentally to do it. I have to go back to platoon 1 and fire the ZIS-3. Oh, the Germans, they thought they caught a break with my attention depth disorder, but no. ZIS-3 fires in 7 or high explosive firepower factors to those gentlemen in hardcover. These boys are hitting on 4, 5s, and 6s. Take 3 hits each. It's only 2 left. Oh, we'll put 2 on the rifle team and 1 on the other squad. The heavy machine gun. So they will reduce cover to light cover. Round goes right through the chest of one of the riflemen with that squad, and that will bring the end to the first platoon for the Soviets. Now we get German platoon 2. Not the most helpful, but they're going to bring in their assault rifle squad, Panzer Grenadier squad, with all the and their half track. And they're going to bring in a senior leader with them inside the half track, and they're going to get up and go. This half track's going to come in full tilt, try to catch up with the Opel Blitz ahead of it. And it gets a +1 per pip on the die for being on the road. They move in 15 inches on the with the half track. They're still behind the Opel, not quite to town, and that ends platoon 2. Not very exciting. All right, Soviet platoon 2. Second platoon gets a 2, a 3, a 4, another 4, and a 6. So they bring in, with the 3, they bring in a full squad behind those trees with their junior leader next to the ZIS-3. They're going to fire on the Germans who just can't take enough. They also bring in, with the 2, they bring in another squad, the guard squad, back here behind the hill, just kind of in reserve. They also bring in a senior leader with them, for the commander for 2nd platoon. And he's going to order this ZIS-3 to fire again. Alright, it's getting ugly in the woods here. Let me count up all these rifles, and then the ZIS-3 will cut loose too. They're going to pour 19 more shots into these Germans. The purple dice will be the ZIS-3, high explosive round. More trouble for these Germans. They get hammered with all kinds of bullets and shells and everything else. It's not going well. rifle section takes 2 dead and a shock. The machine gun team takes 1 dead and 2 shock. Everyone could be close to breaking here. On one of the leaders is hit, either junior or senior leader. Oh, it's going from bad to worse for first platoon. High roll will be the senior leader getting hit. Junior leader is wounded. Let's see what kind of damage he takes. Both groups of men are pinned. We got the leaders wounded, junior leader wounded. We got a bad thing for that, and then you can't get any harder cover than hard cover, so they don't really get any benefit from that except they're firing at half firepower factor because they're all freaking out. Now we get a bad thing for that junior leader being wounded. He's reduced 1 command. Alright, somehow that doesn't affect German overall morale for the platoon. They keep it together, no effect there. Now we go on to German tank platoon. They get 6, 2 3s, and a 1 and a 2. Can only bring 1 tank from one deployment area per turn, or phase, excuse me. So they'll bring another tank in, and the junior leader of the Ferdinand's going to order his boy to drive. Or elephant, whatever terminology you like better. I think it just has to do with like an MG42 being on the thing or something. Alright, the elephant with his junior leader is going to command them to climb this hill as fast as they can. The elephant climbs the hill. He's up there and starts turning towards the Soviets, and the German commanders know they need firepower at the front, so they bring in beast mode. The Sturm Tiger rolls into battle for the first time. He just kind of shows up on the road. Alright, and that ends the German tank platoon. Go over to the Soviet tank platoon and see what they can do. They get 2 1s, 2 2s, and a 4. So they're going to put the 1s and 2s together and do 2 junior leaders. They're going to move their ISU 152. It's on the board, and probably bring in a second one. Our first Soviet beast move behind that squad from second squad and behind the ZIS-3. Can climb that hill and probably take on... Yes. The Ferdinand way down there. That's going to be an interesting battle. And then another ISU 152 enters on the road. Alright, game's getting stupid. We're wasting gas. The Germans need to get out of there. Alright, back to German first platoon. Just to keep everybody in touch with everything that's going on, we'll do like an end of a cycle, kind of fly around the battlefield. So we've got 2 Soviet tanks pushed onto the board. Got a Soviet guard squad in here, kind of hidden behind the hill. Another Soviet rifle squad right here next to the ZIS-3, hiding in the trees. They've been engaging what's left of these Germans over here, dug in and pinned in the edge of town. 2 Soviet rifle teams there. Soviet senior leader behind them, kind of telling everybody what to do. Got a Maxim medium machine gun helping augment their firepower, and then they're backed up by I think it's an 81 that the Soviets use. Could be a 3-inch, not sure, but it's doing some work. These Germans have been getting smoked. Their heavy machine gun is pinned. Their rifle squad is pinned. Their junior leader is wounded. Their senior leader is having a panic attack. Their medium mortar fired a spotting round that was a little off target, and now they're kind of like considering why the heck they're doing this. The machine gun team attached to the squad is broken, and they've fallen back behind them. They got to get their act together. There is a German rifle squad behind the church, which I haven't moved since the beginning. German reinforcements are coming in. You've got a squad here in an Opel. Second squad coming in with a senior leader in a half track. You've got a Storm Tiger just entering on the battlefield behind them, and a Ferdinand climbing the road, looking to start engaging things at long range. But right now the Germans are a little bit in trouble, but let's see if they can turn this frown upside down. Let's go on to first platoon for the Germans. Alright, time for first platoon. They gotta get out of Dodge. I need some good rolls here. So they score a 4, a 3, what is it? Hang on. 2 and 2 1s. So that's a lot. They can get out of this nightmare that they're in right here. So with the 3 and one of the 1s, these guys are going to boogie to get behind these buildings and get out of sight. All right, I just saw that a pinned unit, or it's red, excuse me, a pinned unit can't move until it's unpinned. So the senior leader is going to go first with the 4. He's going to pull a shock and a shock from those gentlemen. A machine gun crew actually had 3 when we started with 2 guys. These guys had 5 with 4 guys. So now they have 2 and 4. No longer pinned. The senior leader, you can't see, he's behind the building right there, uses last command to order this machine gun to move. Actually, you know what? He's just going to use the 1 to have them move. So let's not do that yet. We'll save his last command for something. So they both get behind the building, and then for his last command, the senior leader is going to move himself just to join up with probably the rifle team, what's left of them. With the 2 and the 1 I have remaining, I'm going to move forward the other squad. The squad behind the church is going to move up behind this new Russian building I built. So first platoon took a bit of a beating there, and they've consolidated behind the buildings on the main road in town, the main north-south building, and all the mortar barrage has basically come to an end because nobody can see any targets now. German one's gone, and probably the Soviets would still have a couple extra rounds that would land, but the German troops have moved out of that area. They're going to hold up and wait for reinforcements. All right, Soviet first platoon. Let's see what they can do. They got a double phase, a 4, and a 2 and a 1. They're going to put together that 2 and a 1 to make a 3 and bring their last squad in behind the entrenchment. The senior leader is going to pull this 1 shock that second squad's got, and he's going to put both first squad and the medium machine gun on overwatch. All right, that ends first platoon for the Soviets. Looking ready. Just got to get that second squad on overwatch. But the time being, they repulsed the first German probe. They're quite happy with themselves. They're going to do a little bit of yell. All right. Oh gosh, I see the Ferdinand. All right, let's see how the Soviets had a double phase. Let's see how they do on their second one. Alright, first platoon picks up 2 more chain of command dice, which is awesome. With their 4, the second squad in the trenches will go on overwatch facing that direction, and then with the 3, the junior leader with the ZIS-3 will go on overwatch. Alright, now they're ready. Make sure that ZIS-3 doesn't have a shot on anybody. Just look down the road. Oh, if that half-track comes down the road at all, he's going to get smoked. I didn't realize how good a position that ZIS-3 was in. That's pretty cool. All right, now let's do the German second platoon. Kind of a crappy roll, a 6, a 4, and 3 1s. With the 4, the senior leader's going to move forward, and while he goes by that Opel he'll command that driver to both pull up behind this wall. And then they'll probably, I think they have to do another command to disembark. He has 3 commands, so he can only disembark 1 squad. I guess we'll see if the half track can make it. I could roll double 1s here. Alright, they go 9 inches and sit right there. I think the half track troops are going to stay embarked. Just kind of wait for a moment to rush. So they might sit there. The Opel now going to move forward. Opel disembarks that basically urban combat team, all submachine guns except for an MG-42. So these guys will be really wonderful if the Soviets decide to push the objective. With the last 3 ones, or push the town, excuse me, they will bring the last squad on in their in their half track, going flat out 3d6 plus 1 per pip. Last German Hanomag moves on to the into the battlefield. These guys are the combat engineers inside of here, the pioneers. So yeah, I think I'm gonna, for the time being, gonna keep these guys embarked and wait for a moment and try to rush them forward and disembark. That's the end of 2nd platoon. Go over to Soviet 2nd platoon. You get a chain of command die and a double phase. They bring in, with the 2, they bring in their submachine gun squad. Just kind of hide them in the back of the woods, prepping if they want to do a rush behind their armor moving forward. Now they're going to go again with their double phase. That's kind of cool. They get another double phase. They bring in, and they get a chain of command dice, getting them up to 2. They bring in Mike Deslerovich. Sorry, Mike, can't pronounce it right. He lands in the middle of these troops. This squad up front on the right goes on overwatch. And yeah, they're just waiting for armor, and they might move forward and try to take the town. Turn this German attack into a Russian counterattack. All the Soviet infantry is on the board, so that's why Mike came in. There is 3 tanks off the board, but they have their own senior leader with the IS-2 commander. They get another double phase. Everyone's where they want them to be. They don't want to advance yet, so they're just going to roll again and hope they get chain of command dice. Or up to 4 chain of command dice. If I would have known at the beginning they were going to get 3 turns in a row or 3 phases in a row, I might have charged for the bridge like a suicidal person. But now we're going to wait for armor support. Go over to, speaking of that, let's go over to the German armor platoon. Alright, they get a double phase, a chain of command point, and they can move 1 piece of armor, one junior leader. The elephant's in a good position. He's going to go on overwatch. Sit right there. German High Command Logistic Office is thrilled that that tank won't be moving just because of the amount of gas. I guess like 1 mile to the gallon, I think. So probably less than that. So he's going to sit there and wait, and then we'll do the next phase of the German tank platoon. Germans end up with 2 3s and a double phase, so they're going to move some tanks. Sturm Tiger gonna growl its way forward. Here we go, baby, on the road. That driver eases his beast mode vehicle up behind that Hanomag, and then a Panther comes onto the battlefield on the road. All right, another phase for the Germans. These guys are hoping this tank doesn't just drive over them. They can put that together and get 3 3s basically. So yes, we're gonna move the Sturm Tiger, the Panther, and bring in probably the regular Tiger. The Sturm Tiger's gonna flash his high beams at the Hanomag and pass them on the left. He slides out past them, sprays them with diesel fuel. Oh, what a bunch of buttheads. All right, Panther moving forward, 3d6. What a beautiful armored column. And then the pride of the fatherland, Tiger tank, moves on to the battlefield. Even though he's not even the biggest boy here, that's kind of crazy. At least I don't have the King Tiger in this one. All right, here we go. German armor advancing into the town. Let's see what the Soviets can do when they get there. All right, to counter that, let's do some Soviet tank platoon. Turn. Yeah, that's it. No, there's no turn. Sorry about that. they basically get 3 tanks they can move. So they'll move both ISU 152s, and they'll bring on one of the T-34-85s. All right, the ISUs are you're getting reports that the Ferdinand's down there, the elephants, so they're gonna try to coordinate and crest the hill at the same time so they don't get smoked. Just in case. They got a lot of armor, but you never know. That thing's got a beast of a gun. All right, so well, this one will shift to the left a little bit, and this one will try to haul butt and try to get over there, and then maybe next phase or next time they get to go, they'll try to crest the hill and go head up against this thing. He's a student of history. He's using the reverse slope method that Wellington used. Other ISU 152 moving forward. He's not there yet. Didn't get the biggest move in the world. And the first of the T-34-85s makes it onto the battlefield. And that'll be the cue once all 3 of those tanks are in position. If the Germans haven't done anything, the Soviets will advance behind them. All right. That's the end of that phase. Going back to do a Germans platoon 1. Now we just got the waiting game going. Should be a quick wrap up. Soviets moving armor onto the battlefield. Moved all of their infantry on. They're massing in the woods. They're massing at the trenches. They're on overwatch a lot. Germans have peeled back out of sight. They're starting to bring up their 2nd platoon and hopefully reinforce the town to hold it. And now they're bringing armor up too. When they get in position, they'll try to counterattack. So it's going to be brutal. And we got the elephant up on the hill. And I quit calling it a Ferdinand or elephant because I can't remember which variant's got the machine gun on it. This one's got a machine gun. For German 1st platoon, they still got a Pack 40 off the board, 1 squad, and a Panzerschreck, and I forgot to mute my phone. I suck! They get a chain of command point, bringing them up to 5. They bring their last squad in to the left of the road there. They also use the 1 to bring in the Panzerschreck team to hide behind that little outcrop on the church. If any tanks trying to come down that road, they'll be waiting for them. Or that wraps up that turn. Nothing too exciting. On to the next phase. Soviet platoon 1 just interested in chain of command points. Picks that up. Nothing big. Or on to German platoon 2. They bring in their Panzerschreck team back there behind the building, and they get 3 chain of command dice, which is kind of sweet. They're up to 4 now. Then nothing else they could do. One thing off the board is Captain Carmichael. On to Soviet platoon 2, who's basically just waiting for either a German thrust or more armor support, so they won't be doing much except trying to rack up some chain of command dice. They go up to 5 chain of command points. They're holding their ground, just waiting. Alright, this is where we're going to get real. German tank platoon, yeah, they're not going to be waiting. They're moving forward. So they get a double phase. They pick up a chain of command point, and they got 1-3. All right, I'm going to move the Sturm Tiger forward. Oh, 3 dice. A Sturm Tiger advances into the kill zone. Oh, baby. 11 inches. I gotta look, see if he can't shoot this turn anyway, but since we're in a double phase, I don't know if he can lob a shell. That is truly terrifying. The Sturm Tiger. It's like threading the freaking needle down here. Technically, he can see it. I'm debating something. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna use the unloaded tokens I have for sharp practice on the Sturm Tiger and the ISU 152. So basically they'll fire and then they have to spend an action to reload and then fire again. So I could slow them down, yeah, but it's probably realistic. I mean, they're huge shells, especially that one. It's got a freaking crane on the outside of it. They got to hoist it in through the back door. So I assume there's supposed to be a truck following this thing, so that seems kind of fair. They can still go to town with their machine guns and stuff.
and move. They get enough to do 2 tanks and their command tank, so the Yog Tiger will be coming in as well. The Sturm Tiger is going to unload hell and fire, I think it's 388 millimeter shell. I gotta look. I think it's massive. Yeah, 380 millimeter, I don't even know what word that means. Rocket launcher that fired short range rocket propelled projectile. Oh, heck yeah. All right, here we go. They weighed 726 pounds. That's insane. That's how much the ISU, they weighed 108 pounds max. So the other one weighs 700 pounds. That's why I'm going to basically double the amount of HE that does. All right, first off, the Panther is going to move forward. I can't remember if the Panther's slow or not. I gotta look real quick. I gotta get the Tiger out of the way so this thing can come in on the road. All right, we'll move the Tiger first. It can scoot off to the right of the Panther, and the Tiger is slow. It's gonna go flat out, 3 dice, no extra bots. So we'll throw the unloaded into that, and they're going to chuck a 25 high explosive firepower factors into that mess back there. There's a lot of infantry. It's going to spread out over all the groups. 13 hits on these 4 groups of infantry. It kind of bounces off the armor. We weren't directly firing at them. Yeah, they're spread over these 4 groups, reducing cover to open. Oh, that's going to be no fun. This squad had a guy killed, 3 shock, 2 shock, 2 shock. Zis 3 opening fire on that beast. All right, here we go. I think it's like 40-foot casement on that thing probably. But Zis 3's going for it, the armor piercing round. There's some cover involved in this, so we're looking at a 7. The tank, the Sturm Tiger did move last turn, so it's going to be a +1 to this. Rolling 2d6, looking for a 7, or actually an 8 now with the +1. That shell bounces off the front armor. It was they get 4 for the armor and 3, so a -1 hit, so he bounces it. Oh, good job by the Sturm Tiger manufacturer. Thing bounces off. That's what it's supposed to do. Now they got to reload the damn thing. All right, here we go. That's the... did it get a double phase on this trunk? Yeah, I did. That's the end of the double phase. The Tiger moved up. The Sturm Tiger came in after in the first phase. The you guys know this. It took me a minute to get all that straight, so please forgive me. All right, so we get casualties down here. We get a round off the Zis 3, pounding off the Sturm Tiger. I like the way tank and armor piercing combat and anti-tank combat happens in Chain of Command a little better than bolt action, but that's just me. All right, on to Soviet tank platoon. Let's see what they can do. They got basically they can move 2 tanks. They got to bring in more armor, try to counter the German threat. So they're going to move the T-34. It's on the map forward, just slightly, probably just 2d6, and then also, heck, maybe I can get. You can shoot if you move 2d6. Let's see if I can get an angle on the Sturm Tiger. I'm going to screw up Yog Tiger and Sturm Tiger a couple times. That's why I'm going to keep pausing on that one. And then bring the other T-34-85 on. And just leave the IS-2 for whenever that can come out into the battlefield. So looking down this T-34-85, they can't see the Sturm Tiger. He's in a good spot. Very narrow field of fire. And just going up against these gents in the trees. I might have to relocate some infantry here just because unopposed 388 millimeter rocket propelled mortars are just not a good thing to sit there and wait, just get pounded by. ISUs are going to wait till 2 of them can come up at once and try to fire on the elephant. Hopefully they can get there before the Sturm Tiger gets up on that hill too, otherwise it's not going to be a fair fight. Alright, that makes another cycle done. Russian infantry still holding the bunker. Nothing much going on. Tanks just trying to come into the battlefield over here. The Sturm Tiger fired a giganto shell into that trees and just wounded and rattled some guys, blew some dude to pieces. German infantry is still filtering into the battlefield. Some of the ones that tried the initial push have fallen back, and now we've got more German armor on the battlefield. Germans, only thing they have off the battlefield right now is their Pack 40. I'm not exactly sure where to put that dang thing, but we'll get it on there somewhere. All right, I'll see you in a minute. All right, time for German platoon 1, and it's their phase. Let's go ahead and roll for them. I'm still cracking up. I just got done editing the last cycle of stuff, and my wife doing her tap dancing. I told her I'd mention her. she just picked up the hobby. It's kind of fun for her, so I was laughing that she decided to do it right above my head, and I was like, oh well. She's having so much fun, I couldn't tell her to stop when I was filming, so I was like, screw it, we're going to have some extra sound effects in the background. Alright, they get a worthless 6, 2 chain of command points, a 3, and a 2. Basically, I used a 3, and we're going to pull some shock, I think. That does give first platoon a full chain of command die. Pulling shock is boring. I went ahead and brought the Pack 40 in instead. A narrow field of fire, but that's kind of what you need to survive in this game. They might be able to add some firepower if those ISU 152s come over the top. So, boom, he's on the battlefield, and his senior leader's going to go ahead and put him into Overwatch immediately. All right, that was the last thing the Germans are waiting for. They can bring Captain Carmichael in now, so he's the only thing off board. All right, Soviet platoon 1, it's their turn. They get 2 chain of command dice, so now they're up to 1 full chain of command die. They also got, what else did they get? A worthless 6 and a 1 and a 2. Not much to do with that. All right, they'll relax. German platoon 2, they're up. They're going to move up. They got a chain of command die, and they're going to move up, or chain of command point, excuse me, move up this Hanomag as far as it'll go. Try to tuck it in to get out of the way of the armor. We just need an IL-2 Sternovic to come in and just drop a bomb right there, blow all those guys to pieces. All right, they tuck in. The Pioneers are in the front Hanomag now, and this other squad, I think it's the assault rifle guys from the Pioneer, oh god, what are they called? Panzer Grenadier squad, they're in there. The senior leader is in with the Panzer Grenadiers, and that's it. Maybe some of these guys might jump out and help the Sturm Tiger crew reload that beast. Soviet platoon 2, they got some decision making to make here. Let's see what they get. They get 2 chain of command points, a worthless 6, and a 2 and a 3. Not the best. They do end up with a full chain of command die. Oh, and with the 3, this junior leader goes ahead and pulls 2 shock, gets him down to 1 on this guard squad. Only thing they got going for him is the Sturm Tiger's not reloaded yet. Oh boy. All right, so they're down to 1 shock. The rest of the guys are still at the same, and that one dude's still blown to pieces. He's stuck to the side of the ISU 152. All right, it's time for German armor platoon. Let's see what they can do. All right, they get 2 chain of command points, getting them up to 5. That's the first thing. Then we get 2 4s and a 3. All right, the senior leader in the Yog Tiger, I'm going to make sure these guys are in range. He's going to radio one of these tanks and give them an order. He's also going to order his own driver to move out. All right, he's got a range of 9 inches, which the Panther and the Tiger both are in that range. So he's going to use his 3 commands. He's going to order his driver to move up the hill, flat out. Then he's going to order these 2 tanks to move forward. And then with the last 3, the Sturm Tiger is going to reload. And not very good news for the Soviets. The Yog Tiger gets a great move, and he's up next to the Elephant up on the hill. So when the ISU 152s come over the top, it's not going to be good. The Panther gets a great move. He's able to move out next to the just behind the Sturm Tiger. No firing solution yet. And the regular Tiger is just keeping pace, because with that slow move, he didn't quite keep up with the Panther. So, and then the Sturm Tiger is reloaded. Oh, brutality. All right, on to Soviet tank platoon. Soviets are able to bring in their IS-2, and he's going to immediately radio these 2 T-34-85s in range and tell them to move out. All right, T-34-85s on the move. I gotta take a peek, but I think that's they'll be able to see each other. I'll take a look from down there, but no one's shooting right this second. But that's gonna be fun for the T-34-85 to hold up against that firepower from the Death Star. All right, German first platoon needs some loving. They haven't had a real opportunity to start pulling this shock off. They're in trouble. Also, it'd be nice to bring in Carmichael in the middle of that disaster. Well, they're going to get their dream and then some. They're going to end the turn. So at the end of this, all of the overwatches are going to go. They're going to get 1 chain of command point, and they're going to bring in Captain Carmichael in the middle of that disaster. And he's going to pull some shock. All right, the Rankin senior leader, Captain Carmichael, pulls all the shock. Well, pulls a 4 shock. Gets those both down to 2. Gets the machine gun team attached to that rifle squad is no longer pinned. Still got a lot of work to do. And then everyone loses overwatches, which includes the Elephant, the Pac 40, and then 4 squads basically for the Soviets. They're all gone. And then for the double phase, the first platoon for the Germans is going to go again. 3 1s and 2 4s. That's a lot. That's a bunch of junk. So both senior leaders in here can go. We got a Rankin senior leader and a regular senior leader. So that's 7 shock. And then the 3, the Pac 40 is going to go back on Overwatch. All right, there's no shock left for the Germans here. They made short work of that. Pac 40 rammed another shell back in there, and they're ready to go. Soviet first platoon. See what they can come up with. The Pac 40 has felt prepared a couple times. They're having some optics issues. Overwatch gone again. The Zis-3 still has an angle on the I can't see it. The blurry, don't hurt your eyes. Still has an angle on. Oh, it's terrible. The Sturm Tiger. So thankfully for the T-34-85, they're not in range of the. Oh gosh, they could be in range of that thing though. I should have just fired the Pac 40. Oh, that could have been a miss by Steve. Shocking. Well, I think I missed one earlier for the Soviets, so that's kind of fair. Another double phase. A 3, a 2, and a 1. So not much to do over here. They're going to go ahead and fire the Zis-3 and try to take out the Sturm Tiger again. Yeah, the Zis-3 has already hit before. They need a 6 to hit him this time. All right, here we go. Oh, let's see what it does. The Sturm Tiger. These boys are in fuego. 10 dice against 14 again. Sturm Tiger bounces that one too. 3 hits versus 7. -4. Ping! Bounces off. Wow. It's freaking awesome though. That's This is trying to do their best. All right, here we go. And now let's see if the Pack 40 can see that T-34-85. Oh yeah, I can see him. They're going to get some cover though, and they did move flat out, but they're shooting to the side, which is horrible. All right, they're looking for an 8 against that T-34-85. Pack 40 crew, they're just as good as the Cis-3 guys. They nail them. Let's check out the modifiers. Armor of 7 versus an AP of 9, and the AP is hitting on 4, 5s, and 6s. Oh no, net 3 hits on that thing. That's not good. Let's see how bad it goes. Oh no, she pulls off the side of the road, burning. Ah. T-34-85, toast. All right, now we're up for second platoon for the Germans. After that was first platoon for the Soviets with all those phases. The senior leader in that Hanomag screams at this squad to advance. They're going to move forward 2d6. They advance through the town, heading towards the woods in cover. All right, Soviet platoon 2. See what they can do. Oh, great roll. They get a 3, 2 3s, a 4, a 5. So they have 7 chain of command points now, and a worthless 6. So they're going to do a lot of work over here. The 3, that junior leader's going to pull both of his shock. And with the 2 4s, these senior leaders are going to pull all kinds of shock. Mike, how do you say your name? Deslorovich. And he's going to also order the Zis-3 to fire again at the Sturm Tiger. I did forget to add the shock to the shooting on the Zis-3 last time, but I think it would have hit anyway. I think he rolled a 10. It needs a 6 to hit him again. And there's no shock on any of these squads now. Hits him again. All right, we got a 9 versus 14 armor. Another shell, 76 millimeter inbound to the Sturm Tiger. All right, no hits, so 0 net hits, but that's only for half tracks and carriers. A massive assault gun does not care. That's the 3rd shell it bounces off. That thing is a beast. Or that goes in the German tank platoon now. All right, with the 4, these guys are both going on Overwatch. And then with the 3, the Sturm Tiger is going to lob another 380 millimeter shell into the woods, try to shred those guys again. 25 HE going in hot. "14 hits, crack into that infantry back there, plus with the anti-tank gun. Boom! Trees are in fuego. This squad gets hammered. They take the brunt of it. They take 3 shock, and 1 guy gets blown to pieces. They take 1 shock. This AT gun loses a guy and takes a shock, and this front squad on the right takes 2 shock. So yeah, boom. Sturm Tiger is now unloaded, and that's the I think that's it, right? All right, Soviet tank platoon, they need a win here. They've lost 1 tank already. Come on, baby. That could be the most amazing roll ever for a tank platoon. Let's see what they can do with it. They get a chain of command points, so they go up to 4. And they got all the 3s in the world to work with. They won't be able to move the IS-2, but both of the ISU-152s will be able to move, and then the T-34-85 does it want to move? That's the big question. Let's move the ISU 152s first. Oh, here we go, baby. ISU 152s crest the hill together. The assault gun on the right can't shoot because she went flat out. The other one will be able to fire at a bit of a minus. And then we've got the other T-34-85 is going to move. All right, the second T-34-85 is going to use their buddy basically for cover. So they're going to be hull down, which is awesome. I'm not sure the angles yet where it ends up. I won't be shooting this turn. We will get, before these guys can fire since they moved up, we do have both of these tanks, the German ones, the Jagdtiger and what do we call it this week? The Elephant are both going to unload. Both of these guns are just truly massive. Wow, the Elephant's going after the one on the right. Jagdtiger going after the tank on the left. Trying to put them both in the ground. Holy cow. Alright, here we go. Go with the Elephant first. Well, both tanks are going to need 5 pluses because they're in the open and there's no other modifiers, so good luck. Alright, so that is an Elephant. The Elephant was the one with the 7.62 MG34 or MG42 machine gun added on after they went into Kursk without any machine guns, and I think they got taken out pretty easy by Soviet anti-tank teams. Boom, that's an 88 millimeter PAC 43 2L71. I don't even know what the hell that means. But here we go. Round makes contact with the ISU 152. This is the same gun on the Tiger 2. So that's where I'm going to use for the AP. Well, that's not fair. 16 AP against armor of 7. Good luck. When I get done with this, I'll have to do a bad thing for the destruction of that tank. I forgot. And that affects other platoons as well. Five net hits. That ISU 152 is destroyed. Let's see how it goes. There are infantry within 4 inches. Infantry in that trench are sprayed with 1d6 random hits. 2 hits in hard cover. The entrenchment protects them. Alright, we'll go with the bad things towards the end. We still got the Jagdtiger, which is the most devastating gun in the game. Alright, Jagdtiger needs a 5 to hit. He bullseyes the second ISU 152, who has an armor of 7. Jagdtiger has a 128 millimeter Death Star gun, so 20 AP versus 7 armor. 7 net hits. That ISU 152 is also destroyed. Oh, that's terrible. Alright, let's figure all these bad things out. 3 tanks taken out. With these tank platoons, you add them up by the cost of them on the reinforcements table. These were like equal in points. I don't know. I don't see it. We'll see. Okay. Okay. They just that's the entire the entire Soviet tank platoon just got roasted. So we've got in the big chain of command, you've got the AFEs blown up rules, and then you also have the junior leader, 3 junior leaders killed. So this is going to be a double, triple threat, whatever the hell that means. Well, they had a starting morale of I think 7 or 8 going into this. They just lost 12 points. Oh, so the tank platoon is now going to flee the battlefield. They're gone. I think that's basically game. I don't see... These guys can't... With no tanks, The Yog Tigers, I mean, these tanks are just going to roll up the battlefield and just fire. Once they take out the Zis-3, it's all over. They have nothing that can penetrate anything, and they're just going to kill them all. Oh my lord, that is horrible. And plus, the friendly platoons destroyed. The other teams are both going to lose 2 on that. Plus, they lost 5 command dice, so that's like 1,000,000 points off. Well, that could be the entire collapse anyway, because you get friendly platoon loses a command dice, you can lose points. So they lost like 5, so both of the other platoons are going to lose there. And then tank platoon, friendly platoon destroyed or withdraws, you can get, and they got one of those goes, so both of those other platoons are going to take that as well. Let's just do this anyway. Both, so they lost 4 command dice, so both platoons are going to take command dice loss from friendly platoon. So first platoon loses 2, and the second platoon loses 3. They both fall to there. Now the loss of a platoon, both first and second platoon will both take a heavy loss there. Second platoon loses 3 points. First platoon doesn't lose any, but now first platoon will take 2 more bad things because second platoon lost 2 command dice. And they drop down to 5. And this could just start a spiral where each platoon loses a command dice, forcing the other one to take a command dice roll. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Once again, I don't like straight up butt kickings. After those 3 tanks just got disintegrated. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it. It's a great game playing Chain of Command. This was huge with big armor. Yeah, it was kind of cool. The Sturm Tiger was amazing. The Yog Tiger and the Elephant both were supreme. ISU 152 just didn't have enough armor to stop it. It just went right through them. Armor is 7, and then you've got 20 dice going against it. The Zis-3 hitting the Sturm Tiger like I think 4 times, and bouncing a Sturm Tiger bouncing it off the casement every time was cool as hell. The initial probe by the Germans infantry, and then basically looked like they were going to do good. They started massing up. They were starting to do some damage on the Russians, and the Russians just came in with everything. And then they got their mortar on target. They brought their Maxim machine gun online. They dropped the Zis-3 in the woods, and they just hammered away on those guys. It was insane. Soviets will abandon this town. Germans will cut the supplies and then fall back. They get out of there with all their tanks before the Soviet Air Force comes in and wastes everything. This is probably all the big tanks they had for the entire area. Those are some monsters there. I'm sure they had more Panthers and Tigers, but they sure as heck didn't have a lot of Ferdinands and Sturm Tigers and Yod Panthers. Yog Tiger. Yog Tigers. I was like, all these, it's too much for me. I'm just too overwhelmed. I didn't even get a chance to bring in all the Panzer Grenadiers off the Hanomags. That would have been fun. But yeah, that's what happens sometimes. It's a campaign. There's no point losing any more than this. We'll come back with a wrap up here in a minute, but that was horrible. The force morale differences are going to be insane. The Soviets are going to lose, first platoon will lose 6 guys, and then we'll do the math on who gets what back. Second platoon just lose 1 guy. The German first platoon lost 3 gentlemen, but with their force morale difference, they're going to get all those guys back. The Germans will take the town. Carmichael will get a boost. Everyone's going to love him. Mikhail, in trouble, needs to get some friends. I don't know what he's got to do. He's got to bring a bigger tank force. Find a smaller group of Germans to pick on. I do have a lot of Panzer. I think I have 3 Panzer IVs. I might have to play against them because the big cats were just too much. All right, that's it. We'll get this out. I wasn't expecting to finish this up until later on today. I really should have looked at the ISU 152's armor. I was expecting it to be about 10. I was not expecting it to be 7. And then I totally forgot the Yog Tiger was throwing 20 AP dice. And with the Elephant having the same gun as a King Tiger, just basically was devastating. Yeah. I felt like I rolled, the 25 HE with the Sturm Tiger. It felt underwhelming, but I think really over time it would have worn these gentlemen out. I'm definitely not doing the. It wasn't as devastating as I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to do the reload thing again because these guys just can't shoot that much anyway because they got to wait on 3s to come up and everything else. So it was kind of cool. I thought the 25 HE was going to be too much, but they mitigated it. They did pretty good. They did have 4 guys to split it out over there, but some of these infantry platoons can throw out 25, 30 dice real easy. So these guys, when the Germans were against that wall there, they were getting hit by everything. It was 20, 20, 20, just like double face. Here's 20 more dice, then a Zis-3 shell. Here's 10 more dice, and it was just they hammered away on them. But yeah, this German force they've won the local counterattack. They've destroyed some Soviet supplies. They definitely pushed the Soviets back some, and they'll retreat back under cover of trees and look for some fuel to keep this party going. But next up, the Soviets will be attacking somewhere in Chain of Command. Maybe it'll be Chain of Command 2. I think I'm going to have to do another one of these because it's not until April. Supposedly where Chain of Command 2 comes out. So I think we got time for at least 1, maybe 2 more of these. Been watching some Civil War stuff again, and I've owned the rules for Pickett's Charge forever, and I've never played it. And I think I've mentioned that before, so I am going to play a game of Pickett's Charge with my 28mm Civil War. And that's it, but we'll get you an update on that on the next video. This was quicker than I thought it was, but it's nice to have the game done. And I'm going to go watch my wife do some tap dancing. All right, you guys are awesome. Have a great weekend. I'll see you.